Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Rocio Preciado and I'm the staff member at Immigrants Rising. And thank you all for joining us today to our high school career program informational webinar. I'm very excited to share with you all a very exciting opportunity that we are launching here at Immigrants Rising. And if you are new to Immigrants Rising, our commitment is to make sure that undocumented young people are able to pursue their college and career goals and transform their lives and their community. And if you're joining us today, you're probably wondering and are curious to look into our high school career program that was launched last week. And one of the things that we want to share with you all today are really about what is this program about, who can apply, and I'm very excited to also bring in a group of former fellows, former program applicants who are going to be joining us to also share a little bit more about their experience. Like I mentioned, my name is Rocio Preciado and I'm the Community Education and High School Manager. And I have been with Immigrants Rising since 2013. And my role began as a program participant myself after graduating UC Santa Cruz with my degree in psychology and feminist studies. And I remember graduating UC Santa Cruz with the uncertainty of not knowing what was the job that I was going to land. One, because I had graduated being undocumented. And second, because I wanted to figure out what was the things that I was actually passionate about. Graduating UC Santa Cruz, I began involved and committed to working with undocumented folks, and that was one of the things that I began to pursue. I got access to the network at Immigrants Rising, and it totally allowed me to be able to now be and serve in service of undocumented young people at the high school community. And it's one of the things that I've been doing in the last 3 to 4 years, really engaging with the high school community to make sure that young people between the ages of 13 and 17 are able to get the role models and access the role models and the story to make sure that they are inspired and motivated to continue their dreams despite the uncertainty. And that is the one thing that we also want of our program participants. So our program is open to all folks independent of immigration status. One, because we want to make sure that undocumented young people are able to pursue their education and careers despite their immigration status, because we believe that they are able to create new and brighter futures for themselves, for their families, and for their communities. Now I'm going to go over some of the agenda and the flow for today. I'm going to start off by sharing a little bit more about Immigrants Rising High School Career Program, how it came about. We're going to then go into the overview of the high school career program for those of you who are interested in working within the high school institutions. We're then going to have our former program participant panel, where we're going to have Hugo and Hazel. I am then gonna go over the application process, and we're also gonna go over some questions and answers where my colleague Alejandra is going to be supporting, receiving some of those comments, some of those questions that you have throughout the session. And if you're joining us via Zoom, please, you can use the Q&A Zoom function. You can also use the chat via Zoom. And if you're connecting with us via Facebook, you're welcome to use the comment section. And we're also going to be responding to some of the comments and the questions that come in via Facebook as well. Now, an interesting fact. I had mentioned that when I graduated UC Santa Cruz, I was still undocumented, and I had to identify what were going to be the different pathways for me to be able to pursue my career. And also be able to identify what was it that I actually was passionate about. And in today's time, it actually takes 3 to 6 months for a college graduate to actually be able to find employment. And in these times, it actually feels like a long time. And given the uncertainty that we're currently living with COVID, with a lot of the questions around DACA, the uncertainty of being undocumented just across the board, oftentimes for our community, it delays the process even more, and it can delay the process even more. Now, one of the things that we want to ensure that we offer to folks through this high school career program is one, career training. That way, folks that are coming into this program, they're able to be competitive applicants once they're graduating college and once they're going into the workforce and actually going out there to pursue what they're passionate about. We're also offering professional development. We want to make sure that through this program and graduating, you're able to have an opportunity to enhance those professional development skills that oftentimes will put you at a better position when being in a job site. We're also going to be offering mentorship. So the mentorship will be provided by host sites. And the greatest thing about this opportunity is that the mentorship will also be given via our Immigrants Rising staff, but also the mentorship will also come from host site leads who also are committed to making sure that you are thriving in the career that you're interested in when working with high school students and within high school education. The other one amazing thing, and I think this is one of the most important things, is really the community building and networking. And that was one of the things that allowed me to actually land many consulting opportunities graduating UC Santa Cruz. So this will be an opportunity for you to be able to build community, not only with our Immigrants Rising team, but it will also give you the opportunity to establish new relationships, to network, and to actually be in community with other high school educators who have already gone through the process of working with high school students and who already have navigated the process of their careers. And one of the most exciting things, and this is the one thing that I know and I recognize is one of the most needed things now in our community, especially for youth, is really the empowerment in the education that is needed across the board within our youth. One of the most exciting things about this opportunity is that you also get to empower, be a role model, and be a face to what it is possible for high school students today. Given all of the different barriers, given all of the different uncertainties, especially now during COVID-19, that folks do not have a direct access to an educator, to an ally who can guide them through the college process, to their career process, this will be an amazing opportunity to actually connect undocumented young folks to role models. Now, what are some of the roles and responsibilities and what will this program be about? I had mentioned that one of our commitment with this program was really to make sure that folks were all going and working with high school students. One, because of the need to be able to network within the high school setting, but also because of the need to be able to make a difference in the lives of high school students. Now, one of the general requirements for this program and one of the general roles would be folks will support partner host sites, enhance their support for high school students. Now, what does this mean? If you're coming into this program and you yourself are undocumented, you yourself have a commitment to a specific high school community, to a specific high school group, this is the opportunity for you to be able to support a whole site that aligns with the youth that you want to work with. Now, this can be open to working with youth within special education. This could be open to working specifically with undocumented students. This could be working with other student populations as well. Again, around the high school. You will also be receiving hands-on experience working with high school and community-based organizations through training and mentorship from Immigrants Rising host sites. Now, you will have the opportunity in the application process to identify whether there is a host site that you're interested in working with. And if not, we are going to be supporting and identifying potential host sites that would align with your career goals. Now, one of them could be that you're interested in exploring being a college and career counselor at the high school level. We will make sure to work closely with you to identify a host site that will support your mentorship and your goals. So I'm going to continue in terms of the roles and responsibilities. So folks will also be supporting the capacity of host sites that are committed to serving high school students. So all of our host sites would be host sites that are committed to working with high school students and with young adults. You will have the opportunity to develop a project or support with the implementation of a project to address the specific needs of high school students. Now, we understand that the needs of young people are different than the needs of college students. And this will be an opportunity for you to be able to be that role model and to identify what are some of the ways in which we can continue to support young folks in that process between graduating high school and then being able to pursue their career goals within education or within their careers. You will also get the opportunity to participate in our high school educator showcase, where you will have the opportunity to highlight some promising practices to the broader high school community. Working with high school youth, it's a skill, it's an art. Being able to engage young people, it's an art. And we wanna learn what are some of the projects that you are launching and also being able to share that with the broader community to continue to enhance the engagement of folks. And I'm going to go ahead and give us some time to see whether there are any questions that have come in so far from folks. So this will be an opportunity where you can add some questions through the Q&A and also through the chat box. So Alejandra, are there any questions that have come in so far?
Let me open these up. Someone asked for you to elaborate on the Educator Showcase.
Yes, awesome. So one of the things that we want to do is we want to create a platform for people to highlight what are some of the things that you've learned. So for the Educator Showcase, this will be towards the end of the year when we will be bringing in all of the program participants to come in and share some of the learning lessons. What were some of the things that you learned when it comes to engaging with undocumented young people or with high school students overall? This will also be an opportunity to invite a host site to identify what are some of the things that you all were able to learn through the creation of a project or through the implementation of some of the practices of some of the host sites. Again, this will be a learning opportunity, not only for you, not only for the host site, but it will also be an opportunity for the broader community to be able to see what are some of the things that you were able to achieve. What are some of the things that they were able to learn and what are some of the things that they are able to take away from your learning in this program as well.
Great, thank you, Rocio. The other question someone had is, can I apply if I'm a student?
That is a great question. So one of the requirements, and I'm gonna go ahead and transition into some of the requirements. So some of the requirements are that yes, you are a student. If you're currently a student at a community college in California, or if you're a student at a CSU or a UC, you're welcome to apply. So we are accepting applications if you are a student, currently a student. Again, we wanna make sure that this is an opportunity where you are getting those skills right before graduating. And even if you've already graduated as well, if this is an opportunity that you would like to take on to be able to enhance those skills, establish those relationships, that is also open for folks that have recently graduated. So yes, if you're currently in school or you have recently graduated, you're welcome to apply to the program. In addition to that, we're also looking for people who are comfortable networking and building relationships. That is going to be one of the huge things. And it's going to be one of the things that we're going to make sure that we offer that guidance and that mentorship as well throughout the process. We're looking for folks that are self-starters and innovative, that have strong reading and communication skills and are passionate about working with high school students as the core and as one of the biggest things about this program. And in terms of the commitment, we're also looking for people that are willing to be committed for 15 hours per week at a host site from October 2020 through May 2021. Now, there will be opportunities for folks, depending on the host site and following COVID regulations. We do want to make sure that we are prioritizing the safety of program participants. So in terms of the commitment and the hours at the host site, we are going to be asking and identifying ways and opportunities for people to be able to offer support online and virtually as needed. The other time commitment is to attend a mandatory orientation on Friday, October 9th, 2020, which will also be the date when the program will officially begin for folks. Now, in addition to the amazing relationship building, in addition to the network, in addition to the mentorship, the hands-on experience, and being able to discover what is the career that you want to pursue and being able to build those networks, we're also going to be offering our program participants a $9,000 stipend for their participation in the program. This will be a stipend that will allow folks to be able to participate and continue throughout this program. The first installment would be of $1,000 upon completion of the Immigrants Rising training, which will be approximately the end of October. There will be a second installment, and this will be upon the completion of the whole site onboarding, approximately by the end of November of $2,000. Then there will be a third installment of $3,000 upon the completion of the mid-year evaluation, approximately early February of 2021, and then you will conclude with the last installment of $3,000 upon the completion of the program in May of 2021. And again, one of the things that I would like to reiterate is that this program is open to all folks, independent of their immigration status. It is also independent of having DACA, and it is available for folks within California. So I just want to make sure that I reiterate that independent of your immigration status, this is a program that you are welcome to apply to. Now, what are some of the overall requirements? One is that you live in California. This is an opportunity that is based in California and again are interested in working with high school students. The second requirement is that you are available to attend our mandatory onboarding training, which will be on October 9th. The third one is that you are available to participate in our monthly professional development trainings that are going to be led by Immigrants Rising staff. And the fourth one is that you are available to begin the program and participate in the program between October 2020 and May 2020. Now, before I go into our panelists, Hugo and Jesus, I would like to open it up to see whether there are any questions that have come up.
Rocio, one question was around the whether the work is being done remotely because of COVID.
Great question. So that might actually vary. So yes, some of the reasons why the work might be done remotely might also be by following some of the guidelines of some of the host sites. So there are some host sites that have transitioned into doing work remotely. So that is, yes, in part, one of the reasons why some of the work will be remotely. The other reason why why folks might be doing work remotely might also be due to the kind of project, the type of project as well. But yes, we do want to be conscious of COVID-19 and some of the guidelines and the safety guidelines that people are creating within host sites across the board.
Got it. Great. Thank you, Rocio. Another question is, would individuals be in charge of getting a school to become a host site, or how do we find a school to work with?
Great. Yes. So this will be a collaborative effort between Immigrants Rising and you. So one, we are going to be making an assessment to figure out what is the career pathway that you are interested in pursuing. Is it in teaching? Is it in college and career advising? Is it in working with a specific group or youth? So we are going to be reaching out to our networks to be able to facilitate the process of identifying a host site. But if there is a host site that you are interested in engaging with already, and that you're curious and would like to know, hey, I actually would like to access that network within this organization, you will have the opportunity to be able to include that in your application. That way we can support in following up with the school site or the host site as well. We are going to be launching a host site application, which has actually already been released. So if you check out our website, there will be an opportunity for you to be able to identify and figure out what are some of the things that we're looking for in a host site. But again, this will be a collaborative effort where we are going to be working with our program participants to make sure that they actually land a professional opportunity that aligns with their career goals.
Let's see, we got a couple more questions. Should I go ahead and ask them, Rocio?
Yes.
So one question is around like eligibility. If you're eligible to apply, if you're a student attending a college in Pennsylvania, but you're actually back home in California for the year. What do you think about that one?
One of the things that I would like to say is, whether you see yourself being able to pursue your career in California. We are going to be touching on educational policies that are relevant to students in California. If you identify that you are interested in coming back in California, applying your skills, and you know that learning about educational policy in California would align with your college and career goals, I would encourage you to apply. And again, it is one thing to also consider. Where is it that you want to pursue your college and career aspirations, and learning about educational policy in California and building those networks in California would support your career goals.
Thank you. So yeah, I'm hearing in there that like it sounds like we're open to it, and we would like to learn more about you as a candidate to understand more about your goals, right?
Correct. Correct. Thank you.
Someone was asking if you could expand what you mean about networking opportunities. Like, does it mean with like only at the school side, or yeah, what else? If you could give more examples about what networking means.
Yes. So networking will really entail being able to build those professional relationships with the host site, with their staff, with the mentor within the host site, but it will also allow you to build relationships within Immigrants Rising staff. So it will allow you to be able to identify future opportunities, build relationships, not only with the host site, not only with the mentor at the host site, but with a staff across the board that you get to interact with, and also with Immigrants Rising staff.
Great, thank you, Rocio. Let's see. I guess one clarity that, so folks are saying, oh, so it doesn't need to be a school necessarily, the host site, right? It can be an organization that works with high school students. Is that a confirmation?
That is correct. Yes, that is correct. Yes. So this is open to organizations, school sites that are committed to working with young people between the ages of 13 and 17. So pretty much high school students. This could be a college access organization that is committed and invested in supporting their high school students.
Cool. And maybe the last one right now I see, are there sponsors or host sites in the LA area? And they understand if you can't answer this just yet.
Yeah, fair. So I can't necessarily answer that just yet. There are potential folks that would be open and are also open. So we are looking for host sites also across California. So I can't necessarily answer that now, but it would be something that we can work closely with the program participant to identify those opportunities.
Great. I think the other one I can't answer directly on, so if you want to turn it over to our guests, that sounds great.
Thank you, Alejandra. And I am now very honored to have Hugo and Hazel join me throughout this session. Hugo was a program participant last year, and Hazel was also a program participant last year. They both did a tremendous job working with 2 school sites in the Bay Area, supporting their undocumented students and supporting educators receiving the training that they needed to be able to be effective when working and supporting undocumented students. And now I would like to pass it on and give you all an opportunity to be able to hear from Hugo and to also be able to hear from Hazel. So there are even some of the questions that you all asked are going to be that maybe Hugo and Hazel will also be able to touch upon and just show you a little bit more about their experience. So Hugo, I'm gonna go ahead and have you join us first. So Hugo, if you can share your name, the school that you're currently attending, and if you can just share with the audience, what is one of the things that you're passionate about?
Sure, thank you very much, Rocio, and thanks for your kind words and assessment. So yes, my name is Hugo Lopez Munoz. I am a student at Skyline College in San Bruno, although right now I am on hiatus. I'm just trying to regroup myself and reorganize myself academically. And something that I'm passionate about is, well, there are a few things. For a long time, since high school, I was passionate about mathematics. Being an undocumented student, I haven't been able to get a degree. I have an AA degree, and that is all. I haven't been able to get the bachelor's. If folks in the audience are, I'm assuming, are immigrant students such as ourselves in this program, I'm sure they realize all of the difficulties that there are out there to getting that degree. But I'll get into that a little bit later. I'll just stick to the question right now. So passionate about mathematics. I'm passionate about physical activities. I love playing soccer. I love hiking, running. But I'm also, more recently, I've become very passionate about doing something for our community. I feel like our immigrant community is like a ship that is taking in water, and folks like us are needed right now to stop that water from seeping into the ship, because it's really it's getting very difficult, especially with COVID. Our community is facing a lot. The community at large is facing a lot of challenges, but especially our immigrant community. So our ship is taking in water, and folks like us that are able to go out there and through telling our story and sharing our experiences and bringing what we have learned into the schools is what is needed right now to help save that ship.
Great. Thank you. Well, thanks a lot for sharing. And you touched on a really good point, which is just really the need abroad. And thank you for just sharing also what are some of the things that you're just connected to and committed to. And Hazel, thank you so much for joining. And so Hazel, if you can share the school that you're currently attending and what you're passionate about.
Hello, everyone. It's nice to be here today. My name is Hugo. I'm currently a student at the Apple Valley College in Pleasant Hill. I'm on, I believe, my 4th year of community college, and I am hopefully transferring next year. And it's kind of like I'm answering my 2 questions in one. I'm passionate about like art and like social justice, and I realized that I'm passionate about social justice was because through Immigrants Rising, and because of that I decided to change my major from business to double major in sociology and social justice. So I just want to keep it short and sweet and answer the rest later, so we have a lot to talk about.
Thank you, Hazel. Thanks a lot for sharing, and thank you all for joining me. So the other question that I have is, and then Hugo or Hazel, you can choose who wants to go first, but why did you choose to apply to the last year's high school program?
I can answer that, if you don't mind, Hugo. So I decided to join the program last year. I was actually in the middle of just transferring at the time and thinking, oh, I need like an experience, and I didn't really have that like professional like experience or anything because I don't have DACA, and so it's kind of hard for me to really reach out and get myself those um like work experiences and stuff and opportunities. And so I knew about Immigrants Rising when I was in high school while they were still E4FC. And so I remembered after college, I started looking them up again, and I saw that they had opportunities for fellowships. But at the time, the applications were still closed. But I had the chance to look over the roles, like the high school partnership program and all that. And while I was reading that, I became interested because not only is Immigrants Rising open to students that have DACA and don't have DACA, I realized, I want to be the person that I didn't have while I was in high school. And that's the reason why I wanted to be involved in this program, because at my high school, it's very small and I didn't really have any support there. I really didn't feel supported in the system. And because of that, I thought I wasn't able to go to college, but thankfully I had one counselor that introduced us to E4FC and told us all the opportunities I had being an undocumented and non-DACA student. So, yeah.
Thank you, Hazel. And you're really touching on the difference that one person can make in your life and can really transform your entire pathway. And really how you were able to be that person for other high school students in the Bay Area as well. So thanks for sharing that. Hugo?
Sure, thank you. Yes, so the question is, why did I apply for this program last year?
Yes, why did you choose to apply to last year's high school program?
I'm gonna answer in the most candid way that I can. How could I not apply for this program? I mean, after so many years of closed doors, after graduating high school and knowing that I was undocumented, and everybody would say, no, you can't apply for this, no, you can't apply for that, no, you don't qualify for this and for that. And then after so many years of bouncing around and then I find out that this organization called Immigrants Rising has this program where I can tell my story and I can bring resources to high school students that I didn't have, such sort of like what Hazel said, that I didn't have when I was in high school. Information on how to apply for a scholarship, how to apply for college, how to do anything after high school. I found out that there's an organization that does that, and there's a stipend. How could I not apply? You know what I mean? It was like, it was a no-brainer for me. And now another thing that I'm really, really passionate about is Immigrants Rising, precisely because of that. It's like it was like a drop of water on my desert of being a student, a struggling student because of my immigration status. And I couldn't believe it when I found out about this program. And you're familiar with my story already about when I found out. The person that told me, who was Pam at Skyline College, she told me, oh, there's a fellowship. It was a fellowship back then. I want you to apply for. And I thought to myself, great, here's another person telling me to apply for something that I'm not going to qualify for because I don't have a social. I don't have anything. I don't have any documents. And then the next thing she says, it's like she read my mind. Pam says, oh, this is open to undocumented, by the way, undocumented students. And I said, what? And she said, and there's a nice stipend. I said, what? So of course I was gonna apply. So anyone watching, to anyone listening, if you think that you have a story to tell about your experience as an immigrant student, as an immigrant struggling professional, trying to get your career off the ground as an immigrant student, and you have something to give to high school students, if you have something to tell, something to motivate them and empower them through your story, for example, then definitely I would encourage you to apply. apply for this high school career program.
Okay, thank you, Hugo. And you really opened up the invitation for folks to apply and take advantage of the opportunity. And also because it will be an opportunity for you to also be able to identify other opportunities in your ongoing career. Thank you for sharing. And so the other question that I have for you folks is, what skills did you bring to the program to be successful?
I can take that. Oh, go ahead, Hazel. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. For me, skills, I kind of really didn't know what skills I had to offer coming into the program, because of years of kind of just like putting myself down and just not believing in myself and imposter syndrome and stuff like that. And so I think I really recognized my skills once, like, I was in the program. I recognized like the skills that I was hiding from myself, I guess. And I've always been a creative person, so I brought that skill in the program. We were able to create a bulletin board project. I was just in my high school site one day, and I don't remember what I was looking at, but at my high school site, they had a bunch of colored papers, and I just laid out like a big paper and just started putting in resources for undocumented students. And I shared that idea to the whole group, and we were all able to put that bulletin board to our high school site. And also, I think the skill that I offered was being open. I'm not afraid to being vulnerable to others, and that kind of makes and builds a close relationship with others. So I think those are the skills that I brought into the program.
Thank you, Hazel. Thank you. Hugo?
Sure. So the skills I brought to the program, for some years now, I have been doing some public speaking, gaining experience on that, and I have come to love it. I really, really enjoyed public speaking. So that was one thing that was very, very useful. One of the skills that I brought into the program that was very, very useful, because I was able to tell my story to train educators, counselors, principals, vice principals, in meetings and stuff. So yes, public speaking, also organizational skills, just basic organizational skills on the computer, and like Hazel said, even some creativity on the bulletin board that we made, being creative, making it look nice and making it look appealing, and making it eye-catchy so that the students would see it and say, hey, that's information for me, for an undocumented student, So we put those up at the high schools. So those are some of the skills, but also just this, I don't know if you can call it a skill, but just being a person that cares about the community, about giving back to the community, and sharing our story, something very personal, with the students in order to empower them and motivate them, and to show them that there are people out there that want to help them out, that want to lend a hand, want to offer resources for anything, for going to college or for finding out immigration remedy, such as Immigrants Rising does. So yeah, I mean, I considered myself very fortunate to be in that position, to be the one to come to these two high schools that I was in charge of, and tell the students about ways that they could get ahead, even in spite of their immigration status, and also train the educators, the counselors, and the staff, the administrator staff, about all of these things that they may not be, that in a lot of the cases they were not aware of, because they're not immigrants themselves in many cases. So they don't know how to find these resources for immigrant students. They're from here, they've been living here. They don't know how, in many cases they wanted to help the immigrant students, but they didn't know how. So I was very fortunate to be the one to bring those resources.
Yeah. That's so awesome. That's so awesome. And I mean, I've been a witness of all of the contributions your skills brought to the team and to the program and to all these high schools and to all these students. And just one of the things that I want to highlight are some of the things that you all mentioned, which is really your willingness to try on. You might be wondering, I wonder what my skills are, but really this will be an opportunity to explore those skills, to try it on and be able to polish some of the skills that you already have. I also heard relationship building, being able to build relationships, not only with students, but also with educators. And also one of the biggest things I think is the passion and the commitment to working with youth as well. Now, the other question that I have for folks is, what additional skills have you gained or grown from your participation in the program?
Additional skills, let's see. I was able to, sorry, Hazel, I'll take this one if you don't mind. I was able to further expand on my public speaking skills, because I found myself having to step outside of my comfort zone and build a working relationship with educators, counselors, and administrative staff, like I mentioned before, and also students. And even in some cases, I got to talk to some parents. Even the parents had questions. How do I do this? Is there something that Immigrants Rising is there a way that they can help me to figure out about my immigration options? I said, yes, you could go on the website and find information on that. So I was able to expand my organizational skills and my technology skills with Google Slides and Google Docs and all that stuff. That's always important in this day and age. Anywhere you go, you're gonna have to be more proficient on that. Also, when COVID hit, obviously, Zoom meetings and how to handle all that and how to properly organize and be prepared for a meeting and how to have the resources and how to share the resources electronically and all that stuff. Learning from other members of the program, of the the high school career program, such as Hazel and other great members that brought a lot of their creativity. I looked at them and I said, oh, wow, they did a great job on their bulletin board. Maybe I can challenge myself to also, do something nice. And I had never done a bulletin board. I ended up doing a couple of bulletins, one for each school that were not too bad. So that's another skill that I feel that I might have picked up on, even from other members of the program.
Thank you, Hugo. Hazel?
Skills that I think I gained. I gained a lot of public speaking. I was not the best public speaker. I would always, I'm still working on it, but Immigrants Rising really helped me polish that because of our trainings. It was very, you gotta speak in front of people. It's not optional. You have to. And it at one point I was speaking to 500 students in one day, and I didn't even feel it. And I was just like, oh, this isn't too bad. It's bad like 5 minutes in, but you get used to it. And it's kind of nice being able to tell your story. And what I learned from that is, don't be afraid, just be yourself, and they're there to listen to you. So I think that's the reason why I kind of got better through my public speaking. And also, I think one of the skills that I gained was being unafraid. I was able to put myself out there a lot, and just being able to just like grasp on the program and just try everything. I realized that I was always putting myself out there, whether it was, oh, who wants to do a table? And I'm like, oh, I'll do it. And just any opportunity that was there, or any experience or anything like that, I'm like, I'm there, count me in. And so those are like one of the important skills that I gained, was just putting myself out there, not being afraid to try on new things. And it's really exciting because I've never had to experience any of this. So, what was the point of joining the program if I wasn't going to try anything, So, yeah.
Thank you both for sharing. Thank you all for what you shared, and really for just that gift of just sharing what you got out of the program. Now, the last question that I have is, what advice would you have for someone applying for the high school career program position? So what advice would you have for them if you could have one or two?
I can go if that's okay with you, Hazel. I think I have more than one or two, but I'll try to keep it short. I mentioned before, if you feel you have a story to share that can help empower and educate folks out there, not only empowering students who might be feeling down about their status, but also educate administrators, educators, and staff at the schools in what better ways to serve the undocumented students, then by all means, you are a candidate to apply. Don't feel bad if you feel like, oh, I'm not a public speaker. Most people, the fact is, vast majority of people are not public speakers. They do not enjoy speaking in public. But like Hazel said, you don't have to be a public speaker. One great thing about Immigrants Rising is that the trainings that are provided will help you to grow in that sense as well. The trainings that Immigrants Rising provides will help you to hone your skills, to better tell your story in a more concise and impactful way, in a more organized way, in a short, concise way, so that the message gets across to everyone who's listening. If you feel that you're terrified of public speaking, like Hazel said, don't be afraid to try it on. Sooner or later, it's a skill that is going to help you in your professional career, in college, in wherever it is that you go. It's going to help you. So I would say definitely be open to trying on, be open to facing a little bit of thing, stepping outside your comfort zone and facing some of the fears that you may not have considered before, or maybe you did. So I just think this is a great opportunity. That's what I would advise folks considering applying, and just be open to sharing of yourself, to give back to the community. There was a question in there. I'm gonna go ahead and address it now about, do you have to share your status? I think Immigrants Rising in the trainings will let you know that you don't have to share anything that you don't feel comfortable with sharing. So they will tell you how to efficiently tell your story. If you feel iffy about being open about your status, they will show you ways that you could do that and still tell your story in a way that is impactful. So don't be afraid. Immigrants Rising, great trainings. They will prepare you. They will give you the tools. They will give you the everything you need. So just go for it.
Thank you, Hugo. Hazel?
My advice would be always keep an open mind and an open heart, because by that I mean, like, if there are any opportunities to be involved in any way within the program or even outside of the program, make yourself open to those experiences and those feelings to like fulfill your desires of growth, because that is why you are applying, is to grow and experience these opportunities. And don't hold yourself back by your thoughts, or think like, oh, you're not good enough. What if I don't have like these good ideas or anything like that? Like, the truth is, like, your ideas matter, and they always are, and your existence in itself is really like appreciated in any way. And one thing that I actually learned from Immigrants Rising was, don't let them reject, or don't let yourself, wait, how does it go? It's, let them reject you, don't reject yourself. I don't know if that makes sense, but keep applying, keep trying, keep doing everything, but don't downplay yourself and like the skills that that you have. Don't be afraid to show that, because through this program, I really gained a lot of confidence despite my status. And everything that I do now is not because, oh, I'm doing this because I'm undocumented. I'm doing this because I am undocumented. I'm taking this path because I am undocumented. I'm not letting anything stop me because I'm undocumented. And that's why, even though I wanted to go this way, even if that doesn't work out, I'm still gonna go any other way. That doesn't stop me. So I think just keep trying, and you never know, like, how well you know if you don't try.
Well, I am just moved. I even want to apply with the testimony that you both shared. And one of the huge things that Hazel mentioned which is huge, is don't self-disqualify and don't sell yourself short when considering about applying to the program. Apply. And the other thing that I really want to highlight that Hugo shared is really it's not just an impact that you're having in the lives of students directly, of high school students directly, but it's also the impact that you're having on educators that you get to work with that oftentimes also need that additional motivation and also need to see the lived experience and what it's actually like to be able to find opportunities and be able to thrive. And what is possible for undocumented folks independent of their immigration status. And Hugo and Hazel, I would like to just thank you for joining me, for trying this on again, and just for all of your contributions to the program and all you shared and all your wisdom that you shared with the prospective applicants. So thank you both so much. And if folks have any questions, we are going to be having a Q&A towards the end as well. So if there are any questions that you have for Hugo and Hazel, please stay tuned. So we are going to go ahead and be answering some of those questions as well. But before we go into that, I am going to go into just the application process. So how do you apply? So you do need to fill out the online application, and you can visit immigrantsrising.org/career program. You will be asked to upload your resume when you are applying, and the deadline to apply is Sunday, September 20th at 11:59 p.m. So again, submit your application. I am looking forward to reading more about you and learning more about you and just really exploring where is it that you want to take your career goals, and how can we support those career goals independent of your immigration status. And so having that said, again, I am going to now open it up for questions and do an FAQ. So Alejandra, are there any questions that have come up or any comments, either for me or for our panelists, Hugo and Hazel?
Well, maybe first just a comment, folks just saying awesome stories. Thank you for sharing. Definitely folks hitting the comment around your ideas matter. Felt like it was very encouraging to folks. So great point on that. I guess one question that came in, Hugo, you were mentioning about your story, right? And why is your personal story important? I guess if you could speak to that, and I wonder if Hazel might also have some ideas around that question.
Sure, I'll be happy to. So, like I said, I have a little bit of experience as a public speaker. I have found over the years that when I tell my story and someone in the audience connects to that, it can make a huge difference to them, especially when it's about sharing my undocumented experience as a student, all my struggles, how many closed doors I found everywhere, not being able to get a good job, gainful employment that could sustain my life and while I was going to school, and also at the same time allow me to transfer to a 4-year college and get my bachelor's. So telling my story kind of just, I think it just empowered people. For example, immigrant students that are in high school and they have no idea what they're gonna do, how they're gonna deal with the hurdles, the incredible hurdles that an undocumented student faces. How am I gonna pay my bills? Where am I gonna work? Life is expensive. How am I gonna pay for college? I stand there and I tell them my story, and I tell them how I found Immigrants Rising and other resources, and their eyes light up, and it's like, oh wow, so there are things out there for me, there are options for me. So I think that's basically what in a nutshell what would be the answer to that.
Thank you. Well, Hazel, is there anything you'd like to add?
Why your personal story is important? That's the question, right? So when I was in high school, actually the reason why your story is important is because it's not like you're gonna, you're not targeting like the whole world. Like we can't all change like the world. We all know that. But it's that one impact you can make with just one person. And when I was in high school, that one person was my high school counselor, and she told us her story, and she said that she was a first generation student and that her parents were undocumented. And me being that small school, because she mentioned that, I was like, I have to talk to her because I don't know anyone who's undocumented. I don't know who else is going to support me or who's going to understand me. But this counselor that has undocumented parents and probably knows what I'm also going through. And it's just that one impact we make like with one person. And when I came into this program, I was really scared. I didn't know what to expect, but hearing other people's stories and being able to share mine, I finally felt, not alone, because I've never met anyone who is also undocumented other than my family. And these group of people really have helped me grow and be confident in myself and not, just not be afraid because of my status. And one of the things that really uplifted me during this program was when I was starting, I think it was like my first or second week in the high school. And I thought, like, oh, I don't even know what I'm doing. What if I'm doing things wrong? And this one student, the very first student that came to me, he was like, oh, I heard that Immigrants Rising was here. I wanted to know what it was about. So I just told him everything, and we even talked about our personal stories. And he told me at the end of our conversation, he said, it feels really good to talk to someone that knows what I'm going through. And that, what he said to me really is going to stick with me forever. So that's the reason why your personal story is important.
Thank you both for sharing. Rocio, I have two more logistical questions. One is there going to be interviews as part of the application process? And the other one is being that most schools most schools are online, does that mean the 15 hours will also have to be online?
Great questions. Great questions. So the first question is about interviews. So yes, we do want to get to know you more beyond the application. So yes, we are going to be conducting applications via Zoom. And the second question is, yes, given some host sites and some schools are doing teaching online, yes, some of those hours will be online. And again, it would also be based on the host site. So there are some host sites that might do some in person, but for the most part, yes, if the host site is doing work online, those hours will be done online. Are there any other questions?
I think there's another one in terms of just curious about what Hugo and Hazel are up to now after their time in the high school program.
Wonderful. Yes, Hugo and Hazel, are you going to share? What are you up to now?
Yeah, sure. So one of the things that happens for those few lucky ones that will apply and will be good candidates for this program and that will get be onboarded into the program is that you will have access to an incredible, huge network of people that will just help you to find doors that will actually open for you everywhere, despite your immigration status. I was undocumented, been undocumented for many years, and have had little to no access, basically no access to resources. Somehow I knew that getting getting into the program with Immigrants Rising, the high school career program, that I was gonna have access to networking opportunities, meeting people, and other organizations, but I had no idea to what extent that was true. It was huge. It was incredible. Right now, I'm kind of an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a member of Radiate Consulting Bay Area. It's an organization or consulting company that is going to allow me and a number of other undocumented students to use my skills, my professional skills, to acquire contracts with organizations, not only locally, but also remotely, possibly remotely in other areas, but mostly in the Bay Area, and just basically start making money. So, I mean, like I said, I'm on a hiatus at school. I haven't forgotten about that. I'm gonna go back, and I wanna really look into getting my bachelor's finally. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I like to give Hazel some time to also share.
Thank you. Go, Hazel.
Well, unlike Hugo, I don't have much going on. I'm currently working on my school and really just hoping to transfer next fall, because I did change my major and it took a lot of time. But I'm really glad that I changed my major. But also because of Immigrants Rising, I also knew that, you know, once I joined the program, I feel like there are going to be doors opening for me just because of the experience that they shared with me and the skills that I gained from the program. And because of that, I am a part of a fellowship, which hasn't started. It's going to start in about 2 weeks. And it's called Lyric Community Leadership Program. And it's about uplifting communities like the LGBTQ community and the Black and Brown community and undocumented community. So it's just a really, just the community leadership program to expand my skills and professional development. So that's all I've been up to, because, you know, COVID, unfortunately. And it's also, it kind of cut our program short. So yeah, that's all I've been up to.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Hugo and Hazel. You both are up to big and great things, continuing to make a difference in the lives of other people. And thank you again, both for joining. And for all of you who are interested in taking part in the program, please check it out. Don't self-disqualify. And if you do have any questions, you can always send me an email at rocio@immigrantsrising.org. You can use the subject career program, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have. And so this is the time that we have. Thank you all for joining. Hugo, Hazel, thank you, Alejandra, for the back-end support, and thank you all for joining us. We will have this available in a recording format so that you can go ahead and check it out. Again, you can check out immigrantsrising.org/career program to learn more. Thank you all for joining us.